And welcome back to the Weirdest Team Ever podcast, where we wear sunglasses after wins. The Timberwolves just beat the Denver Nuggets 110-89 in Minneapolis at the Target Center. We are recording this like 2 minutes after the buzzer sounded. So, yeah, my reactions are going to be pretty raw. I haven't really had a lot of time to think about the game or digest it. I had a few minutes at the end of the game when like the bench end of bench guys were in to kind of think about what made this game so successful and what the Wolves did that can be like repeatable and that can carry on to other wins. And I think we have to start with the defense because, like, man, I said it on Twitter that I think this Timberwolves half-court defense is just as good as any other team in the NBA. Like, legitimately, I think it's that good. I think it's up there with the Lakers half-court defense or the Grizzlies when they were fully healthy last year. The Bucks when they're locked in, or the Celtics. I think the Wolves are just as good as all those teams when it comes to half-court defense, and we saw it tonight, man. We really saw it tonight. I haven't seen a lot of teams. Mind you, it is the regular season, and it is early on in the regular season, and the Nuggets still have things to figure out, and it's not the same team as last year, but I haven't seen a ton of teams really shut down the Denver offense kind of like this. I mean, I think the box score kind of reveals a lot about that happening. And like, for example, Jokic 25 points, he's going to get his points, but 11 for 23 from the field and 1 for 6 from 3 is, you'll take that. 3 assists, 5 turnovers, like, whoa. Like, when's the last time? I don't have a stat on this. I wish I did. When's the last time Jokic has had more turnovers than assists? Like, that feels like a rarity to me. Jamal Murray, 14 points. Shot 5 for 16 from the field. 1 for 4 from 3. Michael Porter Jr., 2 for 11. 0 for 5 from 3. Reggie Jackson, 1 for 4. Julian Strother, 2 for 7. KCP only took 4 shots the whole game. Christian Brown only took 8 shots the whole game. It's like wow. Man, that half-court defense was good. And I don't have a ton of words to even say it other than just you have to watch the game to understand how good it was. Because like Rudy and Kat, they played Jokic really well tonight. Probably as well as a front court can play Jokic. I mean, he's had worse games than this, but not a good Jokic game really by his standards at all. He had a lot of foul calls that went his way, but it didn't end up really affecting the outcome of the game. As we know, 20-point win. Yeah, wow, that half court defense. McDaniels too. He got into foul trouble, yeah, but the way he was able to basically nullify Jamal Murray in that first half was key to building the lead. We saw Jamal Murray get going a little bit in the third quarter, but too little too late. McDaniels absolutely clamped him up, and just makes you think, what if in the playoffs last year we have McDaniels to put on Murray full time, and that's a different conversation that you could talk about for a long time. But we really felt McDaniels' impact tonight, taking Jamal Murray out of that first half basically, and with Kat and Gobert on Jokic, they were able to eliminate the two-man game between Murray and Jokic completely, and that is key. That's so key to beating the Nuggets, or to even having a shot against the Nuggets, is you got to take that away. Also helps that Michael Porter Jr., their third option, just had a bad night. I don't think it wasn't easy for him to get his shots, but he had some open ones that he just missed, which isn't going to happen over a long period of time. Like I think tonight he just missed those shots. But yeah, and KCP didn't take a ton of shots, and like Aaron Gordon couldn't get a ton going because he's not really a creator for himself, and he was kind of left open for most of the game, and he just couldn't really convert on a lot of those shots. I'm impressed, man. I'm really impressed with how the Wolves shut down that Denver offense. And then the Wolves' own offense too. It's like what a game. I'm gonna pull up the box score for that, but it felt like a good offensive game from nearly all the players. Gobert had a bad offensive game. I think he missed a lot of shots. He was 0 for 7. I don't really know what happened with that. Almost, it was just like a lot of the shots were just like kind of just weird misses or something. But it didn't really matter this game because his defense was so good and his rebounding was so good. 12 rebounds, 2 blocks, 1 steal. I really good Rudy game. Still on defense. Naz Reid, 16 points. Naz Reid was a huge difference maker in this game. Shot 6 for 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and 3 for 3 from the free throw line. 77% true shooting. Mike Conley was amazing on offense tonight. Complete opposite of the Atlanta game, where it was like in that third quarter, you need a guy like Mike Conley to step up and start, making some shots and getting the team back in the game. But it happened. It happened. In that third quarter, for a second, it was getting a little bit scary because it was like, okay, this is looking like it could start to head down the same path that the Atlanta game did. But Mike Conley was like he got us out of that little rut. He was making all the timely shots, getting to his floater. The floater, just when he's healthy and when he's good to go, that floater just goes in. It doesn't miss. Right or left hand, off glass, doesn't even matter. Mike Conley was so good in that floater range. Also from 3-point area, he was 3 for 4 from 3-point territory. Super big. He hit that 1-3 coming off that Gobert screen in that third quarter, where it basically it didn't seal anything because there's always a ton of time to play after that. But I felt like that was one of the biggest shots in the whole game. That Conley hit there. He was, true shooting of 94%. That's incredible. Mike Conley had such a good game. 6 assists, a steal, played good defense. He's still so quick for his age. Mike Conley, a great game. I thought Cat didn't have a great offensive game, but he showed a lot of good things tonight. 21 points. That's a season high, I believe. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Didn't shoot the ball very well. 7 for 19. Not great. 1 for 4 from 3. Got to the line a good bit. Shot 6 free throws. Made them all. I really like what I saw from Cat on offense. For the most part, like there was some weird stuff, but I felt good about it mostly. And oh my god, there's always shit going on out there. My bad, my fault. Cat on defense was like I was a bit surprised to see this, but they gave Cat the primary Jokic matchup right from the start, and I thought Cat did a damn good job. He did nearly as good a job as you can really expect someone to do against Jokic, especially given how the foul calls were just going Jokic's way every single time. And I was nervous because you could kind of start to see Cat's composure start to wane a little bit, but I thought he played Jokic strong. He continued to play Jokic strong. Even on the perimeter, I think he played him pretty well in moments. Like that one time where Jokic just has the ball at the top of the key, Cat's just on him, he's in the guarding position. Cat just like he rips the ball from him, goes down the court. It's an easy basket. Like I thought Cat had a really good defensive game. And that's one thing you can say about Cat this season. He's been inconsistent on offense, and he hasn't been the scorer or the dynamic offensive presence that we've come to know Cat as the last straight up like 7-8 years of his career. But these first 4 games, I look at the defense with Cat and I'm like, man, that is really good. At least the half court defense. That the transition defense still sucks. That's really bad. People can say what they want about Cat's defense, and he's not a great perimeter defender, and that's I mean, we can acknowledge that, but I don't think he's that bad. In interior defense, he has his moments, and in this season so far, he's been great on the interior. The Toronto game and the Miami game, he's been really good in on the interior, blocking shots, deterring shots, just making it difficult for other players he's guarding to get theirs. And yeah, the transition defense is what's really bad with them, and we don't need to talk about this game because the Wolves won, so we're gonna stay positive. But yeah, I think he did a really good job being on Jokic. Who else? McDaniels again didn't play a ton of minutes. I think he's still kind of warming up from being out with the injury. 6 points, 9 rebounds. Only took 5 shots the whole game, made 3 of them. So that's good. 2 blocks. Also, again, the defense on Jamal Murray was great. It was so good. It's just like McDaniels is such a valuable player for this team. A big concerning part of McDaniel's performance tonight was the fouls. He only played 21 minutes and had 5 fouls. Like that's scary for sure. Like the fouling is still an issue with him. And I don't really know what the answer is to that, because he's in his 4th year now, and you kind of hope that he'd start to be more disciplined with his hands and with using his length. But for some reason that just hasn't come around yet. So that'll be something that we'll have to continue to be watching for as the season goes by. But yeah, man, McDaniels, I thought a really good game. In the limited minutes he had, Anthony Edwards. I mean, we made it this far without talking about Anthony Edwards once. I thought he had a really good game. Nothing crazy from Ant. Nothing too bad either. 24 points, 2 rebounds, only 1 assist, 2 steals, shot 8 for 16 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 7 for 8 from the line. Did have 4 turnovers, which isn't great. Only having 1 assist and 4 turnovers is bad. But it didn't end up killing the Wolves in the same way that it did on Monday against the Hawks. So not gonna give like Ant like the pass here, but again, we're staying positive. It was a great Timberwolves win today. The whole Nuggets rotation was playing, and the Wolves gave it to them. Seriously, they the team shut the reigning champs down. Can never ever be mad about that. And especially in the way it happened too, because unlike the Atlanta Hawks lead at halftime, where it felt like that was predicated on offense and a lot in like high level shot making, we kind of know that that's not what this Wolves team is going to be for the whole season or the playoffs or whatever. It's just not going to be an elite offensive team. The hope is that with the offensive talent that's on the roster, you can get close to that. But at least for right now, it's going to take a long time before this Timberwolves team becomes even like a good or really good offensive team. It's gonna take a while. But so that the Atlanta lead felt a little bit like, okay, this might be hard to replicate, but this lead that the team built at halftime against Denver was built on the defense, and that's something that we know for a fact can be replicated, because last season, the Minnesota Timberwolves had, was it a top 10 defense, top 7 something around, I think 10 through 7. So an above average to good defense. And I thought at certain moments it looked like it was a dominant defensive team. Um, and this season, I think that's what we're seeing more of. Is we're seeing some like legitimately dominant defensive stretches from this team in the half court. Um, and it's kind of funny too because, and I was listening to the Dane Moore podcast this morning, and um, he was also saying this, but we kind of all talk a lot about the Timberwolves as being a team with high regular season upside with playoff question marks, but you think about it in the sense that, like, okay, if the game slows down in the playoffs and the Timberwolves have such a good half court defense, maybe they're a better playoff team than a um, than a regular season team. I wouldn't go there yet because the offense is also a big part of why everyone thinks they're not going to be a great playoff team, which I'm certainly I'm certainly open to that idea because I agree that there are a lot of problems with this offense, but man, the half court defense looks good. I can't stress it enough how good it looked today, um, and just how good it's looked all season, and how it's replicable too. Like this team could um, this team can continue to be a great half court defense team for a long time. Um, let's see. Again, this game just ended, so I don't. I'm still kind of processing just what just happened. Um, but yeah, it feels great to have this kind of win at home against the best team in the NBA. Um, with all their players playing, it's like you got to feel good about that. You just got to feel good about it, and we beat them in a way that's replicable, and that we know this Timberwolves team could continue to do. It just makes me like think like, man. And again, I said I didn't want to go down this route too much, but like, who knows what happens if McDaniels plays against Denver? Um, like, you just don't know because his presence was so felt. Naz Reid too, man. Not Naz has been good. I think in terms of who, if I had to put all the Timberwolves players into a power ranking of how good they've been this season alone, I'd probably say Gobert number one and Naz Reid number two. I think Naz Reid's been that good. Ant is probably three, and then at four is probably like Kyle Anderson or more Mike Conley or someone, and then Katz somewhere after that, and McDaniels and whoever. But I think Naz Reid is probably, in my opinion, probably been the second best, or maybe even the first, like the best player for the Wolves this season. And he's been doing it off the bench in my opinion, too few minutes. Like, I think Nas should play more. Um, and sorry, one second. Okay, I'm just looking at some stats. I'm looking at some stats. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, we lost a turnover battle tonight. Hmm. Okay, yeah, Denver shooting 6 for 33 from 3-point territory. That's really not good. That's not a recipe for a one game. But um, yeah, Nas. I think Nas could play more. I think Nas should play more. He's been one of the best players on the Wolves this season, and um, I thought he was really good last year, but this year he looks legit because that contract we paid him looks like a steal. It looks like we got him for a bargain compared to the production he's been giving. Um, I I don't think there's a lot of players in the NBA that can guard Naz Reid on a post up 1v1. Legitimately, I don't think there's a lot of players that can. Um, it's like the the pace and the patience at which Nas can operate in the post is like, I wish Cat had that same game in the post. I really wish Cat had the same thing because he kind of just doesn't right now, and I feel like Cat used to be kind of better in the post, and um, I used to say for a long time too that Cat's one of the best post up centers in the NBA, and I don't I mean, he's definitely still really good, but I don't really think that he's one of the best anymore. Um, but you can make an argument that Naz Reid is, because Naz Reid is so good as a post-up player, and that's on top of all his other amazing offensive skills, like you know drives, getting to the lane. God damn it, dog was barking. Transition, getting out in transition, his elite ball handling for a center, 3-point shooting. Um, so good what Naz Reid brings. And on defense, like, yeah, he's just a bit undersized to guard other fives. But as an isolation defender on the perimeter, I think Naz Reid's really good. The eye test certainly shows that, and I wonder if there are stats to show that too. That Naz is a really effective perimeter isolation defender. Um, I just can't say enough about Naz Reid and how good he's been this season. Um, I just feel like he's got to play more almost. I don't know how you do it exactly, because let's see how many minutes he got tonight. He only got 19 minutes. If you can give Nickeil Alexander-Walker 20 minutes, you can get Naz like more than 19 minutes. Um, I think Kyle Anderson and Naz Reid should be playing like the same amount of minutes each night. Like, I think they're both so impactful in that regard. Kyle Anderson we didn't talk about a lot too, but also a really good season so far for Slow Mo. Been so efficient. He's been so efficient. It's just like so far throughout the first few games, I've really liked the way he's kind of adapted to being more of a bench role. Last season, because of Cat's injury, Slow-Mo had to start a lot of games, and his role is a lot different. I think as a starter, he was asked to score, but um, not asked to score as much. And on the bench, I feel like he's scoring a lot, and he's getting to that floater at the nail and making decisions and still getting his teammates involved. Kyle Anderson, man, he's one of them ones. He's one of them ones. He is really fucking good, and I just get nervous thinking about the summer and the salary situation, and we're staying positive. I know, but like, I don't know. I just don't know how you can let a guy like that go, um, with how good he was. Seriously, I thought Kyle Anderson played a terrific game, um, through and through tonight. Even though the volume is never going to be crazy with him, his impact is so high. Um, Other players to get minutes. We can talk about Nickeil a little bit. Um, Even though I don't think his impact was not very felt this game. He shot 0 for 3, picked up 2 steals. Not that he played fine defense, but it wasn't anything to like be like, oh my gosh, Nikhil's defense. Shake Milton, 17 points. Again, he just hasn't really been able to figure anything out this season. Yeah, I don't really know, but again, the team got to win. We aren't going to talk about Shake Milton that much. Played 17 minutes. Troy Brown Jr. 5 minutes. Josh Minot 3 minutes. Jordan McLaughlin 4 minutes. McLaughlin played 4 minutes tonight. I want to see him play more. I think he should play like actual meaningful minutes in games, and I think they should cut into. I think McLaughlin's minutes should cut into Shakes by a good bit. But yeah, I'm kind of just going on about the players at this point. But yeah, really good win. I don't know how many more times I can say it about how good the defense was tonight, and just how impressive it is to beat that kind of team. Um, so yeah, let's preview the next upcoming games for the Wolves. Let's see. Okay, so the next matchup is on Saturday against the Utah Jazz, and is that in Minnesota? Yes, that is in Minnesota. Um, and then after that, what is it? Monday. Okay, I'm going to this game. Yeah. So Saturday, I'll get the recap out like probably right after the game as usual, unless something comes up, and then I can get it out like the next morning or the day after or something like that. But the Monday, I'll be at the game against the Celtics, and and those games are kind of tough almost because it's like, because by the time I get home, it's kind of late and I'm tired and I'm in college full time, so I've got schoolwork to do and other stuff to do. So um, we can talk about that when we get there. But um, I do want to spend some time talking about the Jazz matchup. We're running about 25-ish minutes so far. We can get this to 40 somehow, right? Right? I think we can get it to 40 somehow. Um, let's see the Jazz matchup. Okay, so the Jazz so far this season are 1-3, and they're about to be 2-3 because they're up big against the Grizzlies, who are 0-4, about to be 0-5. The Grizzlies are not looking good. Oh my god. Yeah, bad start to the season for them. But Jazz are going to be 2-3 after tonight's. I think the Wolves matchup pretty good against them, or fine at least. Um, they're a big team, and the Wolves are also a big team. So, um, we've got the size to match up with them, to compete with their big guys, in Kessler, who hasn't had a great start of the season. Markkinen, who's really good. John Collins, Taylor Hendricks, all those guys over there. Kelly Olynyk. Um, yeah, I think where the Jazz struggle mostly is on offense, and I think that's something that the Timberwolves can easily take advantage of. Is the Jazz's kind of weak offense. Um, we saw last year how the Jazz had a really hot start, but at the trade deadline, they traded a lot of players, and instantly, without Mike Conley on their team, their lack of good guard play completely their um, tanked their season. They were still in contention for a play-in spot at the trade deadline, and they decided that they'd rather sell, than continue to make a push for the playoffs just to get bounced in the first round, which I kind of understand for their situation. Um, but let's see, only 4 games in, about to be 5. We can look at some Utah stats so far this season. Yeah, Lauri Markkinen, 25 points per game so far, 10 rebounds, just a monster out there. Oh my God, 36% from 3-pointer, on 10 attempts per game. Yeah, that's scary. That's terrifying. Um, Walker Kessler, not a great start to the season for him. John Collins, Jordan Clarkson, both at around 12 to 13 points per game apiece. Colin Sexton having a good season. Keontae George, I think, has been pretty solid in his minutes, even though he hasn't had like a ton of runs so far. I thought he's looked good. Um, yeah, Ochai Abaji also hasn't played a ton. They're kind of just starting things out over there in Utah, running a pretty thin rotation. It looks like too. Um, oh, THT is a starter on that team. 36% from the field, not that great. Um, I guess it doesn't make a lot of sense going over these stats because like the season just started, but um, I guess it kind of gives a bit of a rundown about what that roster looks like. That the starting lineup's going to be Taylor Horton Tucker at the 1, Jordan Clarkson at the 2, John Collins at the 3, Lowry Markkinen at the 4, and Walker Kessler at the 5. Again, I think that's a matchup that the Timberwolves can take advantage of, and hopefully get a win against. It'll be at home, which always helps. I think this team has the capabilities to win that game. It's just all about executing and doing all the little things, and getting in transition. We've all heard it 1,000 times. So yeah, the Jazz, um, they did beat us in that matchup last year, like really early on, but that was a different team. And yeah, I don't know. I thought we played the Jazz not great the rest of the season last year, but um, like I think with this kind of newer, more experienced Timberwolves team, it'll be a little bit easier to match up this time. I don't know. Um, Again, it's just hard really preview a lot of these early season games, and I keep on saying that every single episode of these when I talk about the next game. It's hard to preview these games, um, just because we don't have a great sample size of how each team likes to play, and what each team really does, and how each player has been growing in and out of their role. Part of what makes late season game previews um, so much easier is because you have just a larger sample size, and um, the NBA season is still very, very new. Um, so it's hard to say a lot, and we'll learn about each team as we play them. Um, we'll learn more about the Wolves as we keep on watching these games also. So um, yeah, just a game to look forward to on Saturday. Um, yeah, I might release on like maybe an episode in between um, today and um, the game against the Jazz recap. I might do a episode that kind of previews the in-season tournament and what that kind of means for the Wolves. That would be probably a shorter um, episode if I decided to do it, or I could just kind of um, sprinkle some in-season tournament stuff in as um, the actual group play games happen. I believe the first group play games happen, I think, tomorrow or Friday. It's Friday, yeah. So, um, ton of games on Friday um, of the group play games, and the group play games I can just kind of go over it a bit now. So, um, if you don't know already, the NBA is doing an in-season tournament this year that kicks off on Friday. The first set of games for that are on Friday. Um, each conference, the East and the West, are split up into three groups. So you've got East A, East B, East C, and West A, West B, West C. And in those groups, each team plays each other team in that group twice. Once at home, once away. The Timberwolves are in the same group as the Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings, San Antonio Spurs, and Oklahoma City Thunder. And we'll play each of those teams twice, and those games will happen on Fridays and Tuesdays, I believe. Um, Starting in the month of November, and out of each of those groups in each conference, the best team out of those groups are given an entry to the single elimination tournament in Las Vegas, and then in each conference, the team that didn't win their group but has the best record out of all the remaining teams um, is also in that tournament. So they're kind of like a wild card like pick almost. So like, let's say the Kings win um, West Group C, the one that the Wolves are in, and the Wolves still have the better record than any other team that didn't win their division in the West or their group. They can still be in the tournament. So not every team is actually part of the single elimination tournament. Every team does participate in group play, and group play will happen just like in the normal NBA arenas. Um, every NBA arena will have their own special court for them for the group play games to kind of make it feel more of like a bigger deal, which I think is cool. The Wolves have one of the better courts for sure. I think a lot of um, courts look pretty shit, especially the New Orleans Pelicans. Like their court looks like really bad. I can pull up the courts right now. I know Zach Lowe tweeted a photo of all of them. So let's get the Timberwolves one up. Let's see. Oh, I'll show you the Pelicans first. So this is, can you see it? That's the Pelicans. That's fucking disgusting. Like, oh my god, it's like purple and green. People are comparing it to my team when you can like customize your own court. And like everyone at first was making like crazy colors and all of that. Um, yeah. So here is the Timberwolves court. Let me hold that up close. Looks kind of gray on the phone screen, but it's more of a light blue. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It's pretty clean. A lot of teams have kind of awkward looking ones, but the light blue looks kind of good on a court. So that'll be interesting. And each of the courts kind of goes with each team's city edition uniform. So I don't really like our city edition uniforms this year. Um, like I think the lake idea is cool, but if you look at the actual jerseys, it looks like blue smoke. It doesn't actually look like water, let alone lake water. Lake water is like fucking green, and there's like stuff in it. Um, and it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like people say it looks like these jerseys look like bottled water. It doesn't even look like bottled water. It looks like blue smoke. It's weird. I don't like it. The jerseys themselves don't look that bad. I just think they kind of botched the idea. Um, there were a lot of better ways they could have gone with it. Um, I just think they kind of fumbled that personally, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, we're only going to have these jerseys for 1 year, so it doesn't. And a lot of other teams' jerseys are way worse, like the Bulls or the Mavs. Yeah, no thanks. Um, Quote from Finch after the game tonight from Jace Frederick. Finch asked about the maturity the team showed tonight. The maturity comes when you stack performances like this on top of each other, so that remains to be seen. Good answer, Finch. Good answer. Finch got some real heat for that game against Atlanta, and I think some of it was deserved, some of it was not. But um, I really do like Chris Finch. I would hate for him to have his position um, in jeopardy because of some of the players' shortcomings or whatever. Um, yeah. So um, yeah, in Finch we trust for sure. In Finch we trust for sure. Um, I'm getting so distracted. Oh my god, we're going on a bit of a like not a tangent, but like what is it called when your mind just goes like to like a billion different places and it's like just bouncing around and I don't even know. Um, but yeah, I think we can probably wrap it up then. Oh no, in season tournament. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. We got to go back to that. Great podcasting. Um, So yeah, then the four teams from each conference will like play each other in a single elimination tournament, all in Las Vegas. Um, and the winner gets like a like the winning team gets a trophy, and they like each player on that team they get like $500,000 each, which is a fuck ton of money. Um, like I know a lot of these NBA players are making like 20 times at more than that. Some players are making like 50 times more than that, 100 times more than that even in a season. Um, but like that's still a lot of money. I think players are going to see that and be like, why would I just not try to go for that? Um, and especially for the players that are still on their like rookie contracts or like they're like if a player is on their second round scale contract, like $500,000, but that's a hell of a bonus for them. It's like half their salary. So I I think that money will incentivize players to really compete for it. Um, I'm a fan of the tournament. I think it'll be fine. This will have to be a bit of an experiment year. Um, I'm sure there are ways it can be tweaked in the future, and the groups will change from year to year, and maybe the courts thing doesn't stick. But fun idea. Um, It'll be interesting to see how the Wolves doing it. I don't think it'll be one of those things where like if the Wolves don't make the one of the four um Vegas slots, I'll be like damn it, like that's so annoying. I'm so sad. Like I don't think I care that much. But also, if we did make it and we did like win a game or if we won the whole thing, I'd be pretty hyped about that. That would be pretty cool. Um, that would be cool. So yeah, that's it in season tournament and group play begins for that. When's the Timberwolves' first group play game? So I know we play Utah on Saturday. Um, Utah on Saturday, Boston on Monday. I'll be at that game, like I said. No games on the 7th. That's voting day. Wednesday against the Pelicans. Then our first group play game is on Friday, November 10th against the San Antonio Spurs. We will be matching up against Victor Wembanyama and Jeremy Sohan and Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, all those guys in those teams. They had a crazy comeback win last night against the Suns in Phoenix. So that's the first group play game. That will be in San Antonio at the Frost Bank Center. So I'll be here watching the game, and I'll be able to record a recap right after it ends and get it up next morning like usual. So okay, I was a bit all over the place for the last 10 minutes, but I think we can finally wrap it up now. In moments like this, it's like I'm glad I named this podcast the weirdest team ever, because this team really is weird and it's strange, and I have fun watching it and being a fan, but like, man, I get stressed out over these games. So with that being said, to all you viewers, have a good rest of your day or night or whenever you're watching this. And yeah, like the video on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, do whatever, share it with your family or friends or anything like that. What you guys should do actually is like you should hang up posters around your town or city that has like a QR code to this podcast. And if you do that, that'll be really cool because then people can start watching it. So yeah, like hang up flyers and get a tattoo. Get a tattoo of the podcast on your like arm. So when people like see that, they're like, "Oh, what is that?" And then you can tell them, and then that's like advertising for me. So go do that. Also, follow the Spotify. I'll link that in the description too, because I'm on Spotify now with these. So if you want to like have it on when you're I don't know, going for like a run or something, it's easier. So finally now, with that being said, I wish you all a good rest of your whatever, and peace out.